It's a grudge match, hypothetically. The 2013 Blackhawks, the 2025 Panthers. Who will prevail? We'll reach a conclusion of some kind and talk about other hockey stuff next on CHGO Blackhawks. Happy Thursday. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. I'm Jay Zawaski. That's Mario Tirabassi. Sean Anderson's over there. He's running the show and saying Ram on the Ram ads when they come around, so we'll appreciate that. That's a tease for later in the show. You're going to get a Ram ad, so that's fun.
Ram.
Hey, thank you. Do us a favor, everybody. Hit that like button for us. If you're checking us out on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube page as well. And if you're checking us out on the podcast, make sure you are following or subscribed on your favorite app. We'd appreciate that very, very much. Kind of a, spread the wings kind of a show today. We are in the end of July.
Spread my wings.
We are flipping the calendar, thankfully, to August. In just
to
a
the
few
next
hours.
month, we can't wait to
yeah,
be
I know.
over.
But at least like
until hockey's
August is one of those months where you're like, oh, it's going to start cooling off.
No, it's not.
It's not.
Never.
And it's really not going to cool off until the middle of October these days.
Oh, yeah.
But at least like August, you'll get some football. You'll get some college football.
Yeah, by the end of August,
you start to see the light at the end of the hockey tunnel a little bit. And you got some football to fill the gaps until then. So looking forward to August getting here. Also because July sucked for me personally.
not fun.
So let's do that. But because it's July 31st, Charlie the Bacon Guy sent us a mailbag question the other day, and Greg and I addressed it. Would the 2013 Hawks beat the 2025 Panthers? And we're like, oh, yeah, look at the matchup. Of course, they're going to win. But I've been thinking about that a lot since he sent it, and I want to dive in a little bit deeper on it. So I went this morning at 6:30. I couldn't sleep. So I woke up, and I was, you Google, like, what were the lines in the 2013 Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final. So I had to go find it on Daily Motion, which is still a thing.
Oh, sure. That works.
And they were showing on top of the screen the lines for the game. So it was Taves centering Bickle and Kane, Hanzus centering Sharp and Hossa, Shaw centering Saad and Stahlberg, and Boland centering Kruger and Frolik. So those are your forward lines. Then you had Keith Seabrook, Oduya Hjalmarsson, Roosevelt Leddy, and Corey Crawford. So that is without a doubt formidable. That's a great team, as we know. And here's what the Panthers were throwing out. Final game of the Cup Final this year. Barkov between Verhaeghe and Reinhart. Bennett between Rodriguez and Tkachuk. Lundell between Luosterainen and Marchand. Nosek between Boquist and Samoskevich. Their D pairs were Forsling, Ekblad, Mikala Jones, Kulikov, and Petrie. Is that right? No, they just traded for Petrie, didn't they?
They just traded for Petrie?
Or didn't they sign? Whatever. And Bobrovsky in goal. So
it's a solid.
The forward matchup is tough. The forward matchup is tough.
Across the board though, like you think about like when we had this little discussion, whatever it was, 2 days ago, the difference maker.
Real quick, Petrie would have been Nate Schmidt.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
You got 16 minutes of ice time.
Yeah.
I not proofread. Thank you.
He was a guy that was important for that group. The defensive depth, I think, at the top of the roster for the Blackhawks is the defining part here, for me at least. Because when you look at Keith, Seabrook, Hjalmarsson, Oduya, like, that is a solid top four of, honestly, three guys that could be number ones on other teams.
I would take
Seabrook and Hjalmarsson probably could have been a number one on some other team.
I would take those three over anybody on that Panthers.
Yeah.
And who
you
would
have
you
three of
say,
them.
like, their best defenseman is probably Ekblad, you'd probably say?
I mean, they're
overall. I
they're
know
best-
Forsling's getting there.
Their best defenseman in that, like, run to the final. Defensively, you could say Forsling, but you could almost say they don't win the cup in the fashion that they do without Seth Jones. And
Well, I'm definitely taking, and we are Seth Jones apologists, we've been told.
sure, yeah.
I'm taking all three of those guys over Seth Jones.
Yeah,
without question.
I would too. Same with Forsling, with Ekblad. Like, it's still like those three are all like great second tier guys. They're just not on the level of where a Seabrook, a Keith, or a Hjalmarsson would have been in that 2013 run. But I think what helps the Panthers is the way that they played, compared to some other teams where it might be a little bit more stagnant with, okay, top line does this, second line does it. This is a Panthers team that did and can play any style you want them to. Their top line can be a shutdown line if you want them to be, or they can go out and across the board put up 4 points in a night. And you have guys like Brad Marchand, who's playing like more of a depth forward role, but was a important piece to the group. And you have a guy like Sam Bennett, who can be who he is because the guys around him pick up all the other offensive slack. He can be more of that, like, doesn't have to be a top line guy, doesn't have to have all of the tough assignments, but when he goes out there, he can find that right time to come in with a timely goal, a big play, or for sure he's going to be an after the whistle guy, or even between the whistles sometimes, pulling some stuff that you only get away with in the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, as looking back on it, the forward group, I'm probably giving a slight edge to the Panthers. But here's the other thing. I think that the Hawks certainly have a coaching advantage. Like,
yeah.
I mean, Paul Maurice has won 2 cups, but he's gone all along the NHL and needed this kind of. I don't want to take anything away from Paul Maurice. I'm just saying, if I'm choosing Joel Quenneville, 2013.
It's 2 coaches that fit their groups.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
It's not necessarily like, if you put Maurice with the 2013 Hawks and you put 2013 Quenneville with the Panthers, like, is anything going to change? Marginally, maybe, but I think for the group that they had, it was the right guy. It just wasn't coach skill for coach skill. It's guys that kind of have, I would say, 2 different styles as far as approaching the game, but it worked for that group at that time.
Yeah, that's kind of a good point, because Maurice has kind of adopted that, like that Panthers cool, I guess you'd put it. Like, the Panthers never really feel like the moment's never too big, and that's why when the series started, that's why I picked them. Like, are the Oilers more talented? Yeah, probably. I would say almost definitely. Mm-hmm. But there's just something about that Panthers team and the makeup, and I think Bill Zito has that too, where they're just like, whatever. Wait,
unfazed.
We're better. We're going to beat you.
Yeah.
We know we're going to beat you. It's just a matter of time, and we know that you're fragile in the head and we are not, and nothing's going to get us down, so screw you. And I think Paul Maurice is a big part of that attitude that the Panthers have adopted since he's taken over. But again, I think Quenneville, in his time here with the Hawks, had this ability to just empower the best players to be themselves, to be the best players. I don't want to say he took a hands-off approach, but just understood when to hit the right, when to talk, when to be quiet, when to let the room sort itself out. He had a great touch in that regard too. So I'm not saying it's a massive advantage, like I think the Hawks have on defense, but I still would give the nod to Joel Quenneville at this point.
Yeah, I would too. I think that just that belief that 2013 team had, a lot of that came from the trust that they had behind the bench, and they were down 3-2 they were down 3-1 in that series against Detroit, and fought back and got through it, won that Game 7 in overtime, and I just think that was one of a number of moments that those teams had, but that was one of the biggest of us, like, they're never out of it. And I think a lot of that comes with the belief from the coaching staff and the players that have been there before.
I can't remember, just so refresh me, I can't remember 12 years back. Was Kane and Taves a typical top-line pairing? I feel like they were typically separated.
They would shake things up now and again. That was usually the break glass in case of emergency thing for Q, but you saw it a lot in the playoffs, like so many moments. You've got the heartbreaker goal. You've got the, there's so many through Hawks history with Kane and Taves together. But it's funny, like, I think a lot of people think of them like Keith and Seabrook, where they're just joined at the hip. That wasn't always the case. They were not always line mates.
A lot of times they were split up to kind of, balance out the talent, balance out the attack. But yeah, that 2013 run, they played a lot of time together, and a lot with Brian Bickle, because he just got hot at that time and found the right chemistry with those two guys. And I mean, if you had started the 2013 playoffs and said Brian Bickle is going to be at the top of your list of goal scorers for the playoffs, you wouldn't believe it.
No.
But he found a way to mix with the top six and then be able to mix with the top line, where you have two guys that are Hall of Famers in Taves and Kane. And, you could say, oh, he just kind of like rode their coattail. No, he was a huge part of that that playoff run, and especially in that moment, that goal to win the Western Conference Final, that OT Game 5 winner against the Kings, the heartbreaker, everything. Brian Bickle starts that play by forcing the turnover in the defensive zone, going the other direction, and then Taves and Kane have the 2-on-1, and they finish it off. But he was a force, and that just kind of, as we bring it to the future, to the present now. But you look at like what the makeup of like what a line with Connor Bedard should be or needs to be or whatever. It's not just, your your two other best players are going to play with Connor Bedard, and that's just going to be your best line. Like, we had the conversation all of last year of just like, Teravainen and Bertuzzi, you brought them in. They're two of your best forwards. Why are they not playing a lot of minutes with Bedard? It's because, their styles and what they want to accomplish, and some guys just don't mesh together, and you got to find that right group, which is why maybe it worked out really well with Ryan Donato, and later in the year with Ilya Mikheyev. It was just the style of player just kind of fit with what Connor Bedard's skill set is.
Well, it's funny because the Bertuzzi Teravainen thing, like when that happened and we're projecting what the lines might be, we're like, that's it, just set and forget it. It'll be Bertuzzi, Bedard, Teravainen all year, and never really saw it at any point.
No,
at all.
Very rarely.
Maybe we'll see it with Jeff Blashill. Who knows?
Maybe.
But yeah, I mean, that's on the same beat though. Like, when we're talking about, I don't see a lot of top six guys on this, potential top six guys. Like, you had a lot of guys in all the Dynasty Hawks teams that were not traditional top six guys. Bickle, as well as he played in those playoffs, is not your traditional top six forward.
No.
Andrew Shaw is not your traditional top six forward. Lots of guys got time. I think there was
Michael
even
Hufflin in 2010, no?
Yeah. Yes. Michael Frolik got top six time. Not a ton, but some of it. Chris Versteeg. These are all middle to lower six guys who, when you do have those really solid players at the top, and maybe for this current Hawks team, it's Bedard and Frondell or Nazar, whatever you want to say, or whoever they draft this year. Like, you've got that, so then that third piece becomes more complementary. Mm-hmm. And that's the way that Quenneville kind of built every line here, is you see that Taves, Kane, Bickle, so you've got the two-way play, the power forward, and the skill guy. Mm-hmm. You've got Hanzus to win faceoffs, play in the middle, Hossa along the boards, winning the puck, keeping the puck, retaining the puck, and Patrick Sharp to snipe. Andrew Shaw with the physicality, Saad with the skill, Stahlberg with the speed. Bowen, Kruger, Frolik, three of your best checking forwards with some offensive upside on all of them. So that's like, as you project out from now to the future, it doesn't necessarily have to be you've got Kane, Taves, Hossa, Sharp, Saad. You know what I mean? It's not just here's your top six, here's your bottom six, and they all fit nicely in those spots. Mm-hmm. You want to have guys that complement each other well. We'll continue this conversation and talk about the trade deadline history coming up later. Hit that like button for us. Back in 2 minutes on CHGO Blackhawks. I'm not going to ask you what Sunnyside is, because you know by now that it is the greatest cannabis dispensary in the world. Chicagoland as well, because the Chicagoland's in the world. It's a place where you can go for judgment-free cannabis shopping. Whether you're a noob, whether you're a veteran, Sunnyside has everything you need to elevate your summer. Check out my two favorite brands, Good News and Mindy's. Those Good News counting sheep, let me tell you, if you have trouble sleeping, you don't anymore because you have Good News counting sheep. You know you're going to love Cresco and FloraCal for their great quality and consistency as well. Visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter the promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Bright buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois MedCard holders. And if you're an existing user, use promo code CHGO50 for 50% off one Cresco Labs brand item.
And new vehicles are in store at Ray, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. And this is your chance to score a great deal at the Employee Pricing Plus sales event. Right now, you can lease the new 2025 Dodge Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab for only $399 a month for 27 months. Plus, you can shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. The expert team at Ray, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram is here to help you during each step of your car shopping journey, and they prioritize affordability so you know you won't overpay for the vehicle you need. With Ray's Price Promise, you can shop confidently with no add-ons and no hidden fees ever. The price you see is the price you pay. Check out our partner today to shop one of the Chicago area's largest inventories, and don't miss out on the Employee Pricing Plus sales event for huge savings on the Dodge Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab. For more information, visit Ray, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram today on Route 12 in Fox Lake or online at raycdjr.com.
All right, we're back. We have an offensive number of likes. 37 likes in a row.
I'm offended.
Come on. Let's hit the like button here, please.
Like
Come
spike?
on. Like spike.
Like
we haven't
spike.
done one of those in a while.
Spike it.
3,
Boom.
2, 1. Like spike.
Big
Hit
old
that button.
Spike.
Do it. We need you to do it. We have not reached our conclusion yet on this conversation. Do you, Mario, believe that the 2013 Blackhawks would beat the 2025 Panthers in a series? How many games? Yes or no?
I think yes. I think it would be a tough series. It's not going to be a cakewalk for the 2013 Hawks, or wouldn't be for 2025 Panthers either. But I think it's still favorable to the Hawks because you say, okay, forwards, you know, maybe a slight edge or at least a push for the Hawks. You have the edge defensively, and then you know you could even say a push coaching. It's still a slight edge to the Blackhawks for me, and I think it is that defensive group that makes that difference. And I think too, like you look at, you know, who is going to be, you know, more skilled when you kind of factor out the chippiness, the physicality part of it. I think the Hawks just have that Hawks group have just a little edge in the straight up skill department over the Panthers. So when those big moments happen, where you need, you know, a guy like Jonathan Toews or Patrick Kane to step up and get you that clutch goal, I trust them to get it.
I'm going big brain here. No one's mentioned the 2012 NHL lockout and the fact that season was shortened. So the 2013 Hawks, way more fresh. They're going to dominate.
Oh, that's interesting.
Sure.
So you
we
take
have
them,
to take everything
you take them in the
context,
time
right?
machine from that year, and they just come right over.
Sure. Okay.
The other thing too is I think one of the things that makes the Panthers so good, we talked about earlier, is their ability to just be like, whatever, we're not throwing, we're not shaking. The Hawks had that too, and I always go back. This sticks with me. And I know I mentioned it a lot, but it's Ken Hitchcock was asked. And what was that series where the Hawks almost came back to beat the Blues? What year was
2016?
that? 16, yeah. And he goes, the thing about Chicago is their resolve. They're never beaten. They know they're never beaten. I always like to say, too, like that team never lost a series. They just ran out of time. Like that's how it feels with them. So I think that part of what makes the Panthers annoy the Leafs and annoy the Oilers, I don't think that would work against especially the 2013 Hawks, who already have a cup under their belt.
Mm-hmm.
So they know they're capable of it. That core has already won. They've been through it. 2010, maybe that does affect them a little bit. Maybe the mind games work a little bit, because I think Philly knew in 2010 they were really overmatched talent-wise and just needed to kind of grind out as much as they could, and they did. They played a really strong series, but this, I think it would be, as I'm looking at the matchups the Hawks have had in the Cup Final, I do think this would be the most challenging. So I will say the Hawks win this, but I think it's in 7 games. And I think it's really tight, really physical, and one of those cry barf die series where it's just a miserable experience for 60 minutes a night.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, and we didn't really talk about the goaltending, but
goaltending, yeah. I mean, you have Sergei Bobrovsky, career arc going back upwards, Vezina caliber guy, and you have Corey Crawford, who at that point, I think 2013 Corey Crawford versus 2025 Sergei Bobrovsky, I give the slight edge to Bobrovsky, because there was a conversation starting that 2013 playoff run of, is Crawford or Emery your starter?
yeah,
And they went with Crawford, and it worked out. And this was, a Corey Crawford that, 2011, 2012, it was just like, is he our guy? Is he the bona fide starter moving forward? Because he was in that position, but, there were still a lot of questions around him being the guy that you were going to trust and the guy that you were going to go with. So I give a slight edge to Bobrovsky, but the way that Crawford played in that 2013 playoffs,
yeah. He had a 184 goals against and a 932 save percentage.
It's Conn Smythe,
and that's with the famous,
glove side
reputation ruiner 5 glove side goal game against Boston. The game they won,
which they won 6-5.
They won that game. The other goalie gave up more goals, but because they were from all different holes, it suddenly didn't matter. Pierre Maguire seriously single-handedly ruined Corey Crawford's reputation around hockey. Look at this. This is a problem. All these goals have been the same side. It's a coincidence. End of the day, even with a 5-goal game in the Cup Final, 184 goals against, 932 save percentage, and Patrick Kane flat out said, "Thank you for the Conn Smythe, but Corey Crawford should have won it."
Yeah. And just to add on too, I was kind of surprised with this because I know scoring has gone up since 2013. Bobrovsky started the same amount of games played, but faced less shots and had 50 less minutes, even though they both played 23 games.
Well, less overtimes for the Panthers.
Yeah, the Hawks had some long overtimes in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the, you go to overtime against Detroit a few times. You go to overtime against the Kings. What was it? 4 of 6 of the Cup Final games in 2013 was overtime, something like that. It was nuts. Didn't have to worry about the first round. I think you went to overtime once with the Wild. That might have been the game that they lost. I think it was game 3 they lost in OT to the Wild, but then,
Game 1 against Boston, by the way, triple overtime.
Triple overtime.
Double overtime. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing.
The Kings clincher, was that double overtime?
I think so.
In
Why is my mind just mush?
I know it was overtime at least. I don't know if it was double or not. But I mean, they had a lot of extra hockey played.
13 was just single overtime.
Just single overtime? Okay.
Boring.
Soft.
One overtime. Bunch of cowards.
No, it's a second overtime. I don't know why that's wrong.
Was it? Okay. Yeah.
No, it's 2 OTs.
I remember it being a long night.
Kane scored 10 minutes into overtime as well.
I think I block these out because I try to, when something bad happens, I just try to delete it from the hard drive. And while this is a good thing, the experience of an overtime hockey game, especially when you have to go on the air as soon as it ends, it is agonizing.
I can't wait to get back to it.
Seriously. Bring it on by all means. But I mean, just think when we were in the Bedard's draft year and the Hawks would win, and the dread we would have when the post-game show started. They're ruining their chances. They're screwing this whole thing up. A playoff game is going to be that times 1,000.
I can't wait.
It's going to be so fun. And it is but I think the overtime experiences themselves are just so hard to they're so hard to get through when they happen. I always talk about this too. People ask me what did you feel when the Cubs won the World Series? You know what I felt? Relief.
You're right.
It was
yeah.
a thank God. Thank God they did not find a way to screw this up and blow it.
Well, it's not the same, but Scotty Scheffler was asked, like, what's it like to win a U.S. major? And he's like, it's fun for about 15 minutes. And then it's like, all right, well, what's tomorrow like? Like, you know, it's just really monkey off your back.
It was that Scheffler thing was really interesting. I saw that when it came out. And he's like, you work your whole life for this, and then you achieve it, and then you're like, okay, now what? Like I did it. It's done. Now I gotta golf again next weekend.
Right, especially with golf, where it's just like, you know, their tour is like 10 months long, and I mean every you have you basically have like 4 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
In a season for golf, and then if you don't win one, well, I'll win the Masters instead of the U.S. Open or anything like that. Like same with tennis, it's kind of like you have those big major events, and then you kind of like. You go. It's like a roller coaster. You ramp up to it, and then you come down from it, and you're playing. Every week or every 2 weeks in a tournament. Like it just kind of goes round and round.
Lebowski5 says relief that the Cubs won. Pure joy when the Blackhawks won those cups. Yeah, I will say it felt different, but I think the Cubs thing was there was so much history of something horrible happening, and then you had the way the game got tied, and it was here we go.
Yeah.
Again, right. Game 7. They had a firm lead in the game, and they're going to find a way to do this again.
Especially with the Cubs, the cosmic voodoo.
Yes.
That could poke its head out, I think, is probably part of it. And with the Hawks, like, for me, for their cups, it never came down to a Game 7. They had Game 7s in the playoffs before, but with the cup on the line, it never came down to a Game 7. Like the Cubs World Series was. Whoever wins that game is
I wonder if that's why the Seabrook goal against Detroit is so special to me. I think part of it is the Detroit factor, of course. But you're down 3-1. It is overtime of a Game 7. There's no going back. Yeah. And to get that done, I think like when people ask me my favorite moment of the dynasty, that's usually what I say. Of course, hoisting the cups, amazing.
Yeah.
But in terms of like singular moments, that remains my favorite.
And then in 2011 too, you kind of have that against the Canucks where you don't come back, where they were down 3-1, I think still, and then they lose in overtime in that Game 7. Yeah. The other thing too, just looking back on the Hawks Cup wins, I was a teenager when it happened, but 2010 I was like 13. Then 2013 I was like 15. 2015 we finally all had our cars. So, like, that was just the best because we were driving around at, like, 10 p.m., 11 p.m. around Oak Lawn just honking like crazy.
Nothing like driving on Oak Lawn after a Hawks Cup win.
You never experienced it?
Sprout says, nothing will ever beat the 17 seconds feeling, tying, then going ahead. I've told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again. I was doing the Score postgame show from a radio studio in Boston because they were just going to dial me up, and I was going to do it from there. I was not actually at the game. I was sitting in the studio watching on TV. But, as radio stations do, they had a glass window, and I could see into the other studio that had a guy in a Bruins jersey also watching the game. I don't think we made eye contact or acknowledged each other the entire night because it was just very tense.
Yeah.
But 17 seconds happened, and I got to experience the joy of that and that guy suffering at the same time. As Sprout says, 17 seconds will never be matched. He looked like Jay from Jay and Silent Bob, but in a Bruins jersey, and he was really I was trying to be, Mr. Professional, taking my notes, not reacting too much, but 17 seconds happens, and you're going to react to that. And
I can't imagine
silently turned his light off and did the rest of the show in the dark.
I was going to say, I can't imagine what that show had to feel like for Boston Sports Radio after losing in that fashion.
Oof. That is that's one you don't forget. That's a pain. That's like a Bartman pain. That's like a Buckner pain. That is, it's one thing to lose. It's another thing to lose historically.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to hit the break zone again. Do us a favor. Please hit that like button. We want to get to 100. I know it's tough. I know it's a lot to hover that mouse.
The economy
right
is not
over that
great
like
right
button.
now.
But do it. If you hit the like button this weather that we're having in Chicago, the smoke will go away. But
Where's
this
that
nice,
smoke
cool
coming from?
It's coming from Canada.
Again?
Yep.
Can they stop catching on fire?
Get some fire hydrants up there. Let's go.
Come on.
All right. We'll be back in 2 minutes on CHGO Blackhawks. It's smoky today, but it's going to be hot tomorrow. As always, it's summer in Chicago, and Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. They've been serving Chicagoland for over 50 years. Now is the time to get your AC checked out, and Four Seasons experts are ready to help you with AC installation, maintenance, and repair. When it's hot and humid, you want to know your home will be cool and comfortable. You don't want to stick to your couch. That's not good. Plumbing, electrical, heating, or cooling emergency? Need a new hot water tank or generator? Call Four Seasons with same-day installation and no extra charge for nights, weekend, and holidays. Call 866-4SEASONS. They're your local trusted experts at Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit FourSeasonsHeatingCooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. Again, that's FourSeasonsHeatingCooling.com. There you'll find all their special offers, coupons, and all that jazz. Get cooled off.
Yes, and just like your favorite team needs a home ice advantage, your home needs a home floor advantage, and Empire Today can help you get that advantage because Empire Today has flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day of their life. You won't catch anyone working at Empire out at Lollapalooza this weekend. No, they're worried about floors. Your floors, to be exact. Empire Today is your best bet for new flooring because they can bring the showroom directly to you so you can pick the right flooring for the right colors, the right materials for your space. See how it looks with your furniture, your house, your lighting, all of that jazz to make sure everything is perfect in your home. Schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are better in your home. CHGO listeners can receive a $350 discount when using the promo code CHGO. That's right, $350 off. Restrictions do apply. Visit EmpireToday.com/CHGO for full details.
All right, today is the Major League Baseball trade deadline, so we're going to talk about some Hawks deadline trades throughout history. But before we do that, it is time for Taking the Temp, presented by our friends at Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. I love the air horn. Keep them coming, man. Horn it up.
That's the temp. That's the temp right now.
Visit FourSeasonsHeatingCooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's FourSeasonsHeatingCooling.com. This is gonna shock people.
Oh boy.
But the CHGO Blackhawks chat that's watching the show, almost all of them believe the 2013 Blackhawks would beat the 2025 Panthers. Mm-hmm. It's almost 100%.
Yeah. Well, I'm not surprised.
Has there been a single person in the chat that says Panthers in 7?
No. That's no here way. Regularly, that their IP address doesn't track them back to Florida.
Yeah, they have a palm tree.
Yeah, no, I'm not surprised. But again, back to that conversation, I think it would definitely be tough. There is a world in which in a 7-game series, I could see those Panthers winning. Just not in my world, not in this world that I live in.
The nicest thing someone said about the Panthers was that they're as good as the 2013 Bruins, who the Blackhawks beat.
Okay, sure.
Ooh, that's fair. That's fair. The Hawks were a machine, man.
Yeah.
And let's, you know what? You mentioned it. I want to shift gears because we're on the topic of that team. We're going to do the trade deadline thing later. The Athletic today published their Hall of Fame tiers, and I've got some issues.
So they did their Hall of Fame tiers, which active players are on track for induction into the Hall of Fame. This was done by Peter Baugh of The Athletic.
Peter Balls.
He's got a couple of... Got him. He's got a couple of tiers here. The thing is, that is new. This has been done a few iterations, but what is new is that there's half tiers now.
Okay.
So it's like tier 1, tier 1.5, tier 2, all so on and so forth. Tier 1 is they could retire today and make it. Not going to go through every player, but some notable ones, obviously, players like Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Alex Ovechkin, Patrick Kane. Also in there, Victor Hedman is in there, Nathan McKinnon, Connor McDavid. The 1.5 tier is categorized as almost there, if not already a lock. Those players include Brad Marchand, Brent Burns, Alexander Barkov, Connor Hellebuck, and Jonathan Toews.
Outrageous.
Brett Burns?
Brett Brent Burns.
The big bearded
Yes,
defender.
Grizzly man.
How many
Yes.
cups does he have?
0.
0 cups.
And how many does Taze have?
3 at last count.
3. Marchand now has 2 cups. Barkov 2. Hellebuck 0.
Here's the thing. Peter Baugh is basically saying Jonathan Taze is a Hall of Famer, and he's right. But there is no way that I am allowing this Jonathan Taves erasure to occur any longer. This is ridiculous. Jonathan Taves was, I know it's a short window, but for a 3 or 4 year span, in the conversation with Sidney Crosby. Mm-hmm. Neck and neck as the best player of their generation. Yeah. The two-way play, the scoring, the clutch, the postseason performances, all that stuff, the leadership, all of it.
There were conversations, I remember, of that 2013, 14, 15 year range of if you're starting a franchise, are you starting it with Crosby or Taves?
And I believe that was done by general managers around the league, and I believe Jonathan Taves won that.
I'd have to go back.
Now, I do think we were probably dealing with a bit of Crosby fatigue, which we see around other sports. You see it with Pat Mahomes. You see it with LeBron James. Like, people just I just want to say something different. Mm-hmm. So I think that might have been part of it. But the fact that the conversation could even occur and be close. I saw a video with Nathan McKinnon, just dashing personality, man, just a ball of energy, being asked, this player or this player. And he took Crosby over Yager, over Messier. The only guy he took over Crosby was Gretzky. And he had to think about it. Sidney Crosby is a Mount Rushmore hockey player.
Crosby and McKinnon are best friends.
Sure.
But still.
I know.
But still, yeah.
That's
honestly, that's not a wild argument to have.
I agree.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. But the fact that Jonathan Taves was in the conversation with Sidney Crosby, don't forget, Taves was a top 3 at worst player for a 3, 4, 5 year span. And then his body betrayed him. And there's nothing he could do about that. It's not like he got himself out of shape or was reckless in the offseason. Right. His body literally turned against him. He fought against it for years and still had decent seasons even when dealing with that.
I mean, you even bring up the kind of debate there in 2013, 2014. I mean, you could even see it play out in the Olympics in 2010.
Yeah.
He was the best Canadian player on the ice in that Vancouver Olympics against that probably the toughest U.S.-Canadian matchup I've seen. Mm-hmm. I could be wrong on that, but I mean, that was the peak, I think, of Olympic hockey. And Taves at that point, I think, was better than Crosby. Had a lot of good line mates, but
sure.
Still, I mean, he had 8 points in 7 games.
Can I read something here from former ESPN? I don't think he's with ESPN anymore. Craig Custance.
Sure.
This is dated January 22nd, 2014. Naming Sidney Crosby captain of Team Canada for the Sochi Games, even with his strong resume, wasn't necessarily a no-brainer, not according to Coach Mike Babcock. Quote, should I do a Babcock impression?
Yes, please.
Jonathan Taves has won 2 Stanley Cups. Babcock pointed out on Monday. On Wednesday, Babcock revealed a little bit more about the process. According to the Team Canada coach, Crosby wanted to make sure Taves was fine with him getting the captaincy before things became official. Crosby wanted to make sure it was okay with him because of the fact that he's won a couple cups. Taves is held in high regard, to say the least, amongst coaches, amongst management and players, and he's a huge reason the Chicago Blackhawks win as much as they do. Team Canada picked Crosby as captain and named Taves and future Blackhawk Shea Weber alternate captains for the games. So,
I'm not trying to. By the way,
when I go back to that story all the time about Taves was probably going to be captain if he wanted it.
I'm not trying to take anything away from Crosby. Don't hear me. There's just Sidney Crosby is a better player than Jonathan Taves. There's no doubt about it. But there was a period there where the gap between the two was not that large. Mm-hmm. And for him to be like, oh, I don't know, maybe not first ballot, nonsense. Jonathan Taves is a first ballot Hall of Famer. There's no doubt about it. The day he officially retires, the process will be underway for him to be first ballot, and he should be. I'm also going to take issue. They've got Austin Matthews as tier 2.
Right on the cusp.
Austin Matthews might already be the best Leaf ever.
I mean, he's on track to be. He's on track to be, if he keeps on this pace, he's going to outpace Patrick Kane as probably the best American that's ever played. Once it's all said and done. Yeah, I mean, in that tier, Matthews, Chris Letang, Roman Josi, Alex Pietrangelo, and Cale Makar. Cale Makar should be on that half tier up.
Yes.
Of pretty much if once he's done, whenever he wants to, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Cale Makar, I feel like when his career ends, could be in like the GOAT conversation. And I know Bobby Orr he'll be hard to dethrone because of Bobby Orr changed hockey.
Yeah.
Like he came around and was like, oh, this is different now because of that guy. Mm-hmm. Like he single-handedly changed the way the position was played. Cale Makar is not that, but he will be in the conversation for the best defenseman to ever play hockey.
I mean, you could make a case that Makar has pushed the evolution of what your top defenseman can do. I think you look at the way that he plays right now at the level that he plays at, there's really only him and Quinn Hughes that play that style where you can drive offense solely from a defensive position where you have the freedom to go anywhere on the ice and you're not, quote unquote, out of position. I'd even say even Duncan Keith at his peak could do a little of that, but I think Makar can do it in a completely different way.
I think it's just like Erik Karlsson, and you even mentioned Brent Burns just recently. I think it's just, Makar is just even echelon above those guys. Like we saw the evolution a little bit to an offensive defenseman, and he's just been way further than what those guys could even imagine.
It's not even like Karlsson is offense only.
Yeah, he's a defensive liability.
Makar is a guy who, if you took away his offense, he would still be an awesome defenseman.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he's Nicholas Hjalmarsson with Erik Karlsson offense. Like, that's insane. Like, he's great. And Lebowski Five says it's Cale Makar better and Scott Niedermayer. That's hard because Niedermayer played in the really mucky, clutchy and grabby NHL. But I think that aside from Nick Lidstrom, Scott Niedermayer was the best defenseman of his generation. I think Lidstrom might be the best I've ever seen play.
Yeah.
I never saw Bobby Orr play, but in terms of like, oh my God, this guy is insane. Lidstrom to me is the best defenseman in my lifetime, but Cale Makar is going to be in that argument.
Someone made a comment that I thought was interesting, and they said like if Nicholas Lidstrom was Canadian, how would he be defined?
There'd be a statue of him somewhere.
Yeah. I mean I don't know how much credence you give to that, but I don't think that there's anything to say that Nicholas Lidstrom is also in that conversation of greatest defenseman of all time alongside a Bobby Orr with how they played the position and kind of changed it for the time that they played.
Yeah. Man, Lidstrom was just so good for so long. Could do everything. Huge. Looks like he still play, by the way.
Just real quick, some people are talking that, Makar's a little bit overrated and that you're going a little bit too off the deep end here. Cale Makar in NHL history ranks 111th in points for defensemen. Seth Jones is 100th, and I think that Jones has outplayed him by like 400 games.
Yeah, Jones was what, 2012 draft year, I think I want to say, and then Makar was 2017?
860 compared to 395.
Yeah.
And he's about 30 points behind.
Yeah,
so a season.
He has 428 points in 395 games.
Yeah, I don't think it's out of pocket to say that Cale Makar, once his career is over, could be looked at as a Mount Rushmore defenseman. I mean, he's had 3 seasons in the last 4 years of over a point per game.
92 and 90 points. And
90,
66 and 60 the year before.
30 goals as a defenseman.
The only year he wasn't a point per game was his rookie year, and he was 57 and 50.
50 points in 57
games.
Off.
In 2 COVID shortened years, he had 94 points in 111 games. And then 86 and 77, 66 and 60, 90 points in 77 games 2 seasons ago, and 92 last year with a 30-goal season. I mean, off the top of your head, how many 30-goal defensemen have there been since in the last 30 years? 2? 3?
Maybe.
It's insane.
I think it was somebody in the chat said compare those numbers to Duncan Keith. Duncan Keith's career high in points was a very nice 69-point season in 2009-2010.
He was very offensively gifted.
Yeah, and I think there was more offense than he gave. Like I think he could have popped off for more if he chose to play that way.
Right, yeah.
But I think he was very happy being, I'm going to be a 50, 60-point guy and just shut down, take away half the ice.
If you have a guy that's giving you 50, 60 points as a defenseman and then also is extremely reliable defensively and, could be a shutdown guy if you ask him to be, that's Norris level.
All right, we've got the list of 30-goal scoring defensemen, and you'll understand why the rest of these guys have done that because of the era they played in. Back in 2 minutes on CHGO Blackhawks. We've all been there. You just left the beach. You just left the ballpark. You just left your friend's house in Iowa and realize, oh, man, I left my sunglasses behind. It's brutal. I've been there too. But now we found Shady Rays, and it has truly changed the game for all sunglass ownership nation. That's the thing, right? These sunglasses are made for real life. They look great, they're polarized, they're durable, and they are affordable. Here's the best part. If you lose or break your Shady Rays, even on the first dang day, they will send you a brand new pair. That's it. No guilt trip, just replacement sunglasses. So now you can wear your shades without fear on hikes, at concerts, on a boat, wherever. Shady Rays is the eyewear that has your back, and we've joined up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head to shadyrays.com. Use the code CHGO for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,004 people.
It's hot.
Yep.
You don't want to sweat and stink. You're going to sweat, but you don't want to stink. That's where our friends at Mando come in handy. Mando is whole body deodorant, safe to use anywhere on your body. Perfect for this weekend out at Lollapalooza. Put Mando on your pits, on your balls, on your thigh folds, your belly button, your butt's crack, and your feet to make sure you don't stink when you're out there shoulder to shoulder with a million other people. It was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal body odor was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. Mando is clinically proven to control odor better than a shower and soap alone. And if you travel a lot, their 4-in-1 acidified cleansing bar is perfect for you. It's shampoo, face wash, body wash, and deodorant all in one. Simplifies your hygiene routine and saves space in your bag. Especially talking about bags. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. Comes with solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, and 2 free products of your choice and free shipping. You can get that and 20% off site-wide when you go to shopmando.com and use the code CHGO.
All right, get that stink off yourself. All right, let me hear this 30-goal scorer defenseman list.
Well, actually, don't look at the chat real quick. I'm going to close the chat. Who was the last before Makar? It was post 2000.
30 goals?
Yeah, in the area of the first Hawks championship, within the 3-year area of the first cup.
Boy.
Was it Mike Green?
It was Mike Green with 31 in 2008, 2009.
Okay.
It's been done 9 times by a defenseman, like by 9 players have done it. Orr did it 5 times. Paul Coffey did it 4 times. Dennis Potvin did it 3 times. Ray Bourque did it once. Kevin Hatcher did it once. Phil Housley did it once. Doug Wilson did it once. Green, Makar.
So all guys that their careers ended by like the early 2000s.
Yeah, and you're talking about guys that played in the goalies wear popsicle sticks as pads and don't go down to make the save era.
Yeah,
kind of guys.
You could rip slap shots from the red line. That would go in
like the 7-6 final score era.
Makar is the 5th defenseman to produce consecutive 90-point seasons since Coffey in 88-89. In 90 and 91, and then Al McInnes in 89-90, 90-91. So he did something that hadn't been done in 35 years.
Identify Paul Coffey in his full name, Blackhawks legend Paul Coffey.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's special what he's doing, and I think there's no signs that he's going to be slowing down, and the Avs need him to be that guy. So, he's. You'd think he'd win more Norrises than he has so far, but you pencil him into that conversation every year.
I think we've already got a little bit of Cale Makar fatigue.
Right, yeah.
Because he's like, oh, well, it's like, well, yeah, but. We got to
Yeah,
give it to
well,
somebody else at some point.
Yeah.
You know,
It's not like you scored 100.
it's like the Karl Malone MVP year. See that hoops knowledge? Hear that, Matt Peck? 97. Thank you. 97. If you need a guess, I got you. Talk about Jared Jack's career. All right. So today is the MLB trade deadline.
Trades are
And
happening.
They are.
Some.
Are the Sox trading Robert today?
Last report from Mark Feinsand says no.
Okay.
Which I find surprising. I don't think they're going to spend $20 million on a team that likely won't win over 60 games next year, but we'll see.
We'll see. So I went through the list, and Tab Bamford, our buddy, published it like right before the show. So thank you for that. Trade deadline deals, unspectacular. Like the actual day of the deadline.
Yeah.
Like I think the Spencer Knight, Seth Jones thing, very exciting, was not on deadline day.
There are some impressive ones.
There are some. To me, the most impressive, and we do not speak ill of the dead on this show, but it was a good day for the Hawks when they traded Alexander Karpatsev to the Islanders for a 4th-round pick. Do you want to guess who that 4th-round pick was? Sean Anderson.
When was this?
2004.
I don't know.
Nicholas Hjalmarsson.
Oh.
The Hawks traded the worst player of the millennium and Alexander Karpatsev, again, RIP in peace, for Nicholas Hjalmarsson.
That's so 2004. They
Now,
still got a 4th rounder for the worst player.
They got a 4th rounder that turned into Hjalmarsson. So it wasn't like we're trading for this guy.
It wasn't 1-for-1.
It wasn't 1-for-1, but that's who the pick turned out to be. We talk about the Patrick Sharp for Matt Ellison trade is one of the biggest fleeces in Hawks history. This one sort of indirectly is right up there with it.
Another one from your neck of the woods, trading Stefan Matteau and Brian Noonan to the Rangers for Tony Amani back in 1994. That worked out for both sides.
That did. The Rangers won the cup, and the Hawks got the best number 10 in franchise history.
I remember being in Brother Rice's because we'd eat lunch and it'd be like
go to Rice?
Yeah, I went to Rice.
I did not know that.
We went to a 45-minute period lunch, so we'd eat it in the first 10, so then we could go for the last 35 minutes to go into the library and be on the computer. And I remember that day specifically, it was the trade deadline day, February 27th, 2012. They trade a 2nd-rounder, who ends up being Zach Sanford, and a 3rd-rounder, J.C. Lepon, for Johnny Oduya, who we talked about being the line mate with Hjalmarsson in 2013.
It's a great trade, too.
That's a big one.
That was...
And they eventually got Zach Sanford.
They did get Zach Sanford. But it was like that Oduya trade was one of those that everyone knew was going to happen. It was like the Tavo signing last summer.
Yeah.
And people were talking about it for months ahead of time. Like, it just makes so much sense that it has to happen. And it worked out perfectly. He was the perfect complement to Nicholas Hjalmarsson. And those two were like the mini Duncan Keith and Brent Seabrook. That trade worked out great.
On that same day, they acquired John Scott for a 5th-round pick.
That's All-Star John Scott. Thank you very much.
All-Star MVP John Scott.
Giggity says was for Met trade on deadline day. I don't think that was deadline day. I think it was a little bit ahead of the deadline.
It was ahead of because Kane got hurt.
Yeah.
And his contract came off the books, and they went out and got Vermette shortly after that, I think.
It was it was February 28th.
Yeah, it says at the deadline.
It was, but I don't think that was deadline day. I don't think that was the actual day of the deadline.
Not listed as deadline day here.
Yeah, it was right around the deadline, but it was not on the precise day. So, interesting. To go back through it, we think of the trade deadline as this very active day every year, and when you look back on it, there hasn't been a ton.
Yeah, it's always like the 2-week lead up is like when the action really starts happening, and that's why this year the deadline is 1 week after the season resumes from the Olympic break.
Yeah.
So there might be kind of like 2 kind of deadlines of like that lead up to the roster freeze before the Olympic break, and then when you come back from the break, you have a week to kind of figure things out. Like that's going to be pretty exciting.
All right, and before we go, the Athletic also published the worst contracts of 2025 today. This is Dom Lucian. For the first time in several years.
Oh, I think I know exactly
how
many
years. Lo and behold,
years.
Guess whose contract is not on there anymore?
Is it Seth Jones?
Seth Jones, no longer on the worst contract list. What a surprise how narratives shift.
Yeah.
And sure, you take $2.5 million off because the Hawks are retaining $2.5 million.
Sure.
He was never That was never when they show the gap of value versus contract. That was not the number. But all of a sudden, Seth Jones leaves Chicago and plays with better players, and he's not such a bum. Weird. Jonathan Huberdeau, dubbed the worst contract in hockey, $10.5 million with a $5.1 million market value. Ivan Provorov, number 2.
I love on the analyzing everything.
Yeah.
For Huberdeau, a 1% chance of him living up to his contract.
So
Like, this is a guy that had 115 points like 2 seasons ago. And, can't do it.
Chandler Stevenson, third, $6.3 million contract,
That was a bad
$1.5 million
contract.
value. Brady Shea, $7 million contract, $2.6 million value.
At Nashville.
Nicholas Hague, $5.5 million contract, $1.6 million value.
Nashville.
Sean Couturier, $7.8 million
Captain
contract.
of the Flyers.
Yep, $4.4 million value. Ryan Pullock, 6.2, 2.9.
Yeah.
Sam Bennett, interesting, $8 million with a $5.5 million value. But again, playoff impact matters.
Yeah, I mean, you win the Conn Smythe, you're going to get a big contract. Everyone was going to be, if he had hit the market, was going to be in on Sam Bennett. So, he took less money than he was going to get on the open market to stay in Florida and continue to be the guy that he is. But that is still a lot of money. But I think we'll have the conscious conversation as we get into this season and into next summer, how money is viewed with the NHL, because it's going to completely change.
Just for completion's sake, the last 2 on the list, Cody Ceci was 9th and Tanner Jeannot 10th.
NHL teams are still paying Cody Ceci to play hockey.
They truly are.
It's crazy.
They truly are. It's just funny. It's just funny how things, all of a sudden Seth Jones goes to the Panthers and he's not a punchline anymore.
Well, the Jay Fresh public fan vote for best defenseman, he went from the low 50s to the top 32.
Crazy.
Perception changes when when you're able to be the exact same guy that you were, but just with better teammates.
It's funny that.
Yeah. Anyways,
why we were called apologists. It's exciting to not see any Hawks on that list this year.
Yeah, that's good.
I thought that Burakovsky might have had a shot.
Nah, I don't. I think what he makes is completely fine. Like if he's back of the hockey card, like again, how the narrative of money is going to change. Third and fourth line guys are going to be worth $3, $4, $5 million over the next year. When we look at the the free agents, guys do contracts for the summer of 2026. Their money is going to be stupid. Kaprizov, Panarin, McDavid, all these guys are going to make bank that we haven't seen in the NHL since the 90s when there wasn't a salary cap. You just pay guys whatever you want.
When it makes the contracts, like you got 3 years left of Bertuzzi at 5.5, flawed player, but that seems like a freaking bargain now.
Yeah, that's what he would be worth.
Yeah, 5.5 for the next 2 years for Burakovsky. Tavo's got 2 years left at 5.4. These are all very reasonable. You could even, I think next year you'd call those bargains.
The list that The Athletic does of the best valued contracts. Now, obviously, how he plays this season impacts that, but I think every indication is it's going to be a good, should be a good year for a guy like Alex Vlasic, making $4.1 million. He's going to be very likely your top pair left side defenseman. I'll be interested to see if he's one of those top 10 best valued, because the arrow is pointed up on him. He's a young guy making $4 million to be a top pair defenseman, and the assignments he's going to get, the minutes he's going to get, the roles he's going to play. I think he'll be. I think he'll be a candidate, or should be at least, to be on that list next summer.
So this is different. This is the best contracts, not best value.
Okay.
Jack Hughes, Brandon Hagel, $6.5 million contract, $12.6 million value. Damn. Seth Jarvis, Sam Reinhart, Nathan McKinnon, Leon Draisaitl, not for long. Dylan Gunther, Lucas Raymond, Matt Boldy, and Tim Stützle are on there right now. So, I don't know. We'll see. All right. Thanks for everybody for being with us. We'll be back tomorrow. We're going to be remote. Mario's off tomorrow. Greg will be in. So we'll have lots of fun with Greg Boyson, who's about to record the CHGO Wrestling show. So keep your eye out for that. And, of course,
SummerSlam preview.
MLB trade deadline. So keep your eyes on all things CHGO Sports for all the breaking news as it happens.
Are you guys going to be live for that?
There is going to be a live Cubs show at 4:30. I will be live at 5:30 post deadline.
Okay.
So deadline's at 5, so about a half hour wait.
Perfect.
Nice.
All right. Keep it here on CHGO Sports and CHGO Blackhawks.
We all silly like the mayor.